I went to Pakistan, the generous grant from Randolph College, to learn about why electricity is such an issue for people, even though the country has two hydroelectric dams that are ranked among the largest in the world. Unfortunately, both dams were closed due to security reasons, and visitors weren't allowed to go in and look around because of the pandemic. But I was still able to learn a lot about why there's an energy problem in Pakistan. The problem persists because people spend a lot of money on gas and diesel generators, as well as UPS or uninterruptible power supplies, which charge batteries while there is power and then use that power later on when the power goes away. But a growing trend in Pakistan and the environmentally conscious choice is to use solar panels as a backup when there is no power. With the extreme heat during the summer, having backup power is a necessity for coping with the weather. In recent years, Pakistan has produced more energy than the demand, but due to old infrastructure, the nation is unable to deliver the generated power to people's homes. Due to a variety of reasons, electricity is very expensive in Pakistan, mainly due to high taxes and the devaluation of its currency. Since electricity is expensive, people cannot afford it, so local grid stations cut electricity to limit the electricity used by people, so that their bill is lower and they're able to pay it. This policy is called load shedding and it occurs throughout all of Pakistan. For the project, I had to first determine the load that I would be placing on the whole system. The plan was to power 3 fans and several lights at the same time solely on solar energy during the day, and then at night the batteries would take over the load. Then a list was made for the project's materials. Based on the load, 4 panels were needed that each produced 270 watts at their peak, usually around 1 p.m. each day. The panels were first wired in series in pairs, and then those were wired in parallel. So 2 sets of 2 for the panels. A positive and negative wire from the panels was taken to the MPPT or maximum power point tracker. This machine had the wires from the solar going into it and a positive and negative wire from the batteries as well, in addition to a wire from a wall that connects the solar panel system to the wiring with the house. The batteries were wired in series in order to increase their combined voltage to 24 volts from their 24 volts separately if they were in parallel. The MPPT converts the 72 volts in parallel from each set of panels to 24 volts to charge the batteries and also convert it to 220 volts to be used throughout the house. The MPPT also determines when to charge the batteries and when to use the power from the panels directly to the house. Previously, I believed that installing solar panels was a task that didn't require much thought, but I learned that now that although the process is not too complicated, it cannot be done without properly thinking about the system itself. This project helped me understand the importance of solar panel size and the load that is placed on them. Overall, the project made me realize that a solar panel setup is not that expensive. It only cost me about $500 for everything, and for a one-time investment that does not require much maintenance, that's a good deal. I want to give a special thanks to Randolph College for providing me with the funds with their RISE grant. This grant is what made this project possible, and I just want to give them a huge thanks. Thank you so much for listening.